Good morning, gang. Joyce Welsh, Skipping Calves Farms here. I've finished up my basic morning chores with letting the mowing crew out. Oh, we can't see them from here. Um, Set up a new paddock for them, and they are out busily doing their job, munching, mowing, and growing, and just being nice to have. I've also this morning moved the poultry pen from back here up this way towards the end of the paddock, so that'll be the last time I'll need to move that for several days. And the girls are out checking out the new territory. Also kind of wanted to do maybe a bit of a walkabout and kind of planning and looking at my food forest in a little bit more detail. So thought I would take you guys along. I may put it on pause in between because last thing you need to do is see me walking necessarily. But here is a chestnut tree that I put in a couple of years ago. That's going to need some serious winter pruning. I'm going to need to get a little more education on chestnut trees before I do that. Here's the sister tree that I put in at the same time. It has a little bit better overall geometry, but I'm going to need to kind of trim that and shape it. They've been in the ground for, I guess, about 3, maybe 4 years. And then these fruit trees, kind of my mini orchard. I've got a white nectarine that's got kind of a nice basket shape. It's a little off balance, but and then I've got a Liberty apple, and in fact, look, we got an apple, but it's not been in the ground for 5 years, so I won't harvest it. I'll leave that for the critters. And I'm gonna need to decide what kind of shape I want that. This apple down here is it's Granny Smith, one of my favorites. And as you'll see, I'm coming back here to the Liberty. These are my homemade limb spreaders. Let me zoom out. My apologies, gang. Basically, it's just a piece of scrap wood that's about a 3/4 by 3/4, cut to a set length. And then I just used a staple gun. Here, let me do this if I can. If you can see that. And put and offset my staple gun so it's not zooming in on that very well. But you can see I just left 2 brads sticking out on either side, and then that kind of keeps the angle and helps the tree branches grow out at a broader angle. Otherwise they'd be grown up straight. I've been using those for a couple of years with some success. I think part of the challenge is I haven't pruned them properly. Here's another Liberty apple, and we have some daisies. Over here is wait a minute, that is not a Liberty apple. That is my Red Delicious, and there's my Liberty. And I wanted to come over here. These have exploded this year. It's a 3rd year they've been in the ground. I've got 3 different varieties of blackberries. And then on this end, I've got 2 varieties of traditional grapes that are seedless. I think the one in front of us here is Concord. And this grape here, which is not done as well, I believe, is a red seedless. Although it looks like it's doing a little bit better this year. Last year, didn't do hardly anything at all. looks like one of the reasons I wanted to do this walkabout is right here in front of us. You saw the damage on that other leaf. This is a Japanese beetle. You can see that. These things are extremely invasive, very destructive, and very difficult to get rid of. I don't like these. Oh my goodness, gang! Check this out. This is my first blackberry off of this vine. Oh man, I'm going to enjoy this. Oh man. Oh, gang, you should be here. It's a good thing it's behind electric fence, or I'd have competition with the black bears. I got these. This bush on the left is supposed to be an early fruiting, and it is. It's the only bush that's got full berries. The one in the middle is a mid-bearing, and the one on the right is a later bearing, so I'd have fruit over an extended period of time. For whatever reason, it might be the local microbes or other soil conditions. The medium, I'm gonna grab me another berry here. This is so good. Haven't done well. I got 3 of each, and the final 3 I planted in another section of the property because I really didn't know what to do with them. These 2 grapes are muscadine, which are traditionally native to this area, and they don't cluster, so we get a lot of rain. The cluster grapes sometimes have a mold and mildew issue, but this particular vine this year came out very early, and then we had a late frost, and it froze all the way back down here, whereas, and you can see that's got a pretty good base on that vine. Whereas this one over here on the other side, it's a much smaller vine, but it didn't freeze. It came out a little bit later. And look at it growing, gang. The idea is to have the fruit grow up and over, and for the grapes to hang down on the inside, and for the berries to be able to be picked when and wherever. As you can see, I need to do some trimming. I just did some weeding through here. This was an experiment. I got a pomegranate that was supposed to handle this area and this climate, and it froze out anyway. It is on grafted rootstock. What's growing up now is from the graft. I don't know if it's going to have any decent fruit on it or not, but I figured it's here, it's in the ground. Let's see what happens. Over here are my 2 varieties, and I'm on this side of the high tensile fence of hazelnuts. So they seem to be doing okay. They are a favorite target of Japanese beetles. I don't know if you can see that, gang, but yeah, the Japanese beetles are already on this, and this is damage in just a few days. So I will need to start coming out here and doing a daily walkabout. What I use is a 2-liter bottle where you cut the top off at the shoulder and turn it upside down, and it becomes a trap that they can't get back out of. That way I don't have to use toxins and poisons and things like that. I'm going to put this on pause because it's getting pretty long, and see if I can get around the other side of the fence. I'll be back if I'm sorry, you're looking at the fence here. Let's look at something nicer. If it accidentally turns me off, I will apologize. I will come back for a part 2. And in the meantime, gang, I pray blessings for you. And whatever you do, keep chasing the dream. Well, gang, I'm back. And look who's here. None other than the infamous Miss Lucy. Who evidently does not want to be on camera today. Okay. This over here is a plum tree, which is normally where my June bugs come first, which is what I wanted to do as part of my walkabout this morning. We saw a few on the one hazelnut tree. Are you going to be camera shy still, Miss Lucy? You want to come say hi? Want to come say hi? Hi, Miss Lucy. Hi, sweetie. How you doing? Yeah, you're such a good girl. Okay. I still don't see any significant, I don't see any actually, Japanese beetles yet on this plum. I cut this plum down quite a bit last year. And this is my Red Haven peach. Now, it actually did have some fruit on it this year, but something got into it early. And most of the fruit, if you can see, you can kind of see that shiny thing on the top of that peach. That's something that got kind of wormy. So we'll see what happens. And it also, gang, if any of you know about this, the tips of the new growth after a bit will go, what's the word I'm looking for? It'll go limp. It wasn't exactly, it wilt. That's the word I was looking for. It'll wilt and then go brown. And then I'll lose some of my leaves will change color and drop off. The overall health on this particular variety is lower than on my other. Now this is a sour plum that has yet to fruit. It was given to me by a friend. What I may have gotten from her without her realizing it is one of these, which is off of the original root stock and won't fruit. I've left it here for now because it sure is pretty when it blooms. I keep hoping. And the Japanese beetles prefer the plum over my peaches. Now this peach did well last year, although we had a freeze, so I only had a few fruit set on it. They got really big, like store size big, and they were awesome. This, I believe, is the A-Bear variety, and it's doing a bit better. Now, so I'm going to need to come this winter and trim these trees. I may trim those plums back severely. Here's a bit of information that I didn't know. A friend of mine named Karen told me. Here is an aloe vera plant, and it's doing wonderfully. But I had it out in the bright sun, and it started turning red. This is a residual of being on the sunny side and from being out before, getting a bit more sun than the rest of the plant. It really doesn't like full sun. It likes dappled sun. So if you've got aloe vera and it's out in the bright sun and it's not growing, or the fronds are getting red and then kind of rather than swelling up, they're just kind of melting away, it may be you're getting too much sun. This is a chore for later on today. I'm going to be repotting my olive tree. This is my McIntosh apple. I've not trimmed it out yet with the summer trimming for all the little, let's see if we can go in and see with a, no, I can't cheat by that way. We'll have to just kind of walk over and stick our nose in. If you can see, there's a lot of brushy growth in at the center of the tree here. All of that needs to go. But if you look right above, look, we've got apples. Quite a few. I harvested a couple coolerfuls, or I guess maybe a coolerful, I don't want to exaggerate, of apples last year. And the McIntosh weren't all that big. They were, you know, just a couple, 2.5 inches across. But my goodness, I sliced them and dehydrated them and ate them all winter long in my oatmeal. It was the sweetest apple. It was awesome. This area through here has got to get weed eated. As you can see, everything's gone to seed. What I may end up doing, because it is so tall and I don't have a lawnmower that's running, I may just cut the seed heads off the top and the top 10 or 10 to 30% off the grass and just leave it like that for the winter. It'll give me better protection for my ground. This was one of my early raised beds, and about the only thing that survived is this small patch of asparagus. I know it's really in badly need of care, but I'm allergic to asparagus. It's not top on my priority list. That drum is for my compost tea brewer. I came over here to show you this. Compared to the McIntosh apple we just looked at. This is my wine sap apple. A couple of days ago I came in and trimmed all the upright sucker wood out of it. This tree blooms a little bit earlier than my McIntosh, and so I've had a hard time setting fruit in it. I'm gonna have to move my horseradish. It's not looking real healthy because it's not getting much sun. When I planted it several years ago, this tree was much smaller, and it was earlier in the year, and I thought it would get more sun than it is. These are the other three thornless blackberry varieties that I just planted somewhere. Almost tripped over that. Bear with me here, gang. Here is my choke cherry bush, and we've got fruit that's coming on that. It is a great antioxidant. That bush, when I got it a few years ago, was just in a 1-gallon container and knee high, and now it's over 6 foot. It probably needs to be better tended to this winter, but regrettably it kind of gets bounced to the bottom of the priority list oftentimes. This is my original grape arbor. Well, actually the original arbor rotted in just a couple of years, so I put T-posts in. These are just some $5 Concord grape grapes that I got at Aldi's. They are seeded, and that's regrettable because I made raisins out of them last year by leaving the clusters on and covering it with netting, and the raisins came out wonderful, but they also came out very crunchy because of the seeds. So it's not something that most people would eat, but it's something I made, so it's something I've been eating on. But it does lose a lot when it gets seeds. So with that, gang, I'm going to put you back on hold. And, well, nope, I tell you what. I'm just going to go ahead and end this video because it's getting long. Before I do, one other thing I want to show you while I'm here, and I also planted this a few years ago, which is now about 5 or 6 foot tall. This is my blueberry, and as you can see, it's starting to come to fruit. I discovered I was allergic to blueberries shortly after I planted it, but it sure is a nice plant, and the birds like the fruit. So with that, gang, here is my view over the grape arbor. Blessings for the day, and keep chasing the dream.